fish friends. We've been talking about birds and what is in a bird's habitat. Well, now we're going to observe those birds in their natural habitat, and that's called birding. And it's a hobby that many people have. So the first thing we're going to do is make something special to actually observe those birds. So you know how every day at circle time we put on our binoculars? Well, today we're going to make our very own. You are going to need 2 toilet paper holders. No paper on those anymore. Or if you don't have those, you can use a paper towel roll and cut it with the scissors in half. If you have trouble with that, because it will squeeze a little bit, you can ask a grown-up to help you. I have 2, so these are the ones I'm going to use. Can you guess what I'm going to do with them? Here's a hint. So the first thing you're going to do is attach those together. You can use tape or you can use a stapler. Tape is fine. I'm going to use the stapler because I think it's a little bit more sturdy. Really have to squeeze, and you do have to be careful with a stapler. We never put our finger inside there. Now my stapler is a medium size. You might have one that's bigger and it might not fit into these holes, so you might have to use tape. Hey, maybe I'll use staple on one end and tape on the other. It's important to do both ends so that they stay together and don't come apart like this. So just get a piece of tape. Any kind of tape will work. I have some Scotch tape, but if you have masking tape, that works too. And I'm taping those together on the end, just like that. Now, I want to be able to wear these around my neck when I'm out birding. So I've got my hole punch. One of these was in your activity kit. And you're just gonna punch a hole on the outside edge so that you can put a string through there. So here's one punch, and this is thick cardboard, so you might have to use 2 hands to really squeeze hard to get that hole. And you'll need one on the other side. Squeeze. Now, in your activity kit was also a little bag that says, "Save for binocular activity." Inside is a string or a ribbon. You can put it through those holes. And you can either tie it, or if you can't get a knot, I'll tie this one into a knot. But if you can't make a knot, you can also just tape it. It's through the hole, and I'll tape the little tail to the side. Maybe I'll wrap it into the inside like that. It doesn't really matter. You won't notice that. So now I have my string so I can wear my binoculars around my neck, and they're handy to look out. But look, these are kind of plain, aren't they? There's some stickers in here too. And if there aren't stickers in there that you like, you could always use your markers to decorate it with some stripes, or maybe you could personalize it with your name. That works too. But I think I'll use some of these stickers. I have some flowers and just some interesting circles and colorful squares. My stickers are kind of hard, so they're not staying on there too well, but that's okay. I think I'm going to use my markers and do some more decorating later. But I want to show you that once you have it all decorated, you can go looking for birds, and there's more to do. Once you have the binoculars made, your grown-up can print out these 2 pages of birds. And these birds are native to Massachusetts. I see them all the time in my own backyard. I see them when I walk by Loker School, the playground, or just out for a walk on the rail trail. You'll have these birds in your neighborhood, whether you put up bird feeders or not. These birds are all around us, but they shelter and live among all the trees, and they're always on the move. So anyway, this says, which birds do I see outdoors? These are birds native to Massachusetts. And when you spy one of these birds, you can color it in. So this first bird is, do you know what kind? If you guessed a cardinal, you're right. It's a cardinal. And down here is a fun fact about cardinals. I'll tell you what it says. Northern cardinals' song sounds as if they're saying, birdie, 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 or cheer, 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 cheer. So I'm gonna look around, and you can look around with me. I don't see any birds in my front yard, but look up here. Do you see that cardinal? That's a cardinal. We can tell because of its bright red color. And sure enough, here's the cardinal, and we can color it in. So I'm going to use my colored pencils because these are small pictures, and I want to do a good job of coloring that in. I noticed his wing is darker than his body, so I'm going to use a darker red to add more detail to my cardinal. And I also notice that my cardinal's beak is bright red too. So I still have his legs to color. And this cardinal is perched. That means his 2 legs are standing on some kind of narrow branch. I think I'll color that in too. So I've colored in the red cardinal. Now there are other birds that are red, but what's special about the cardinal is this point on the top of his head of feathers on a bird that's called a tuft. The cardinal has a tuft, and look down here. Do you see the blue jay? The blue jay has a tuft of feathers on the top of his head too, a top tuft. So there's a cardinal, a black-capped chickadee. See his little black cap on the top of his head? This one is called an American goldfinch, and he molts. That means a lot of his feathers leave his body 2 times a year. Not all at once, just a few at a time, and they regrow in. But in the wintertime, he's not that bright yellow, because in the fall, he lets go of the yellow feathers and he grows in more neutral colors. Neutral means more natural colors like browns and grays and tans. So this bird, the goldfinch, looks totally different in the summer than he does in the winter. Here's 4 more birds that are native to Massachusetts. Look what's on its head. This one is called a tufted titmouse. He's got a little tuft on the top of his head. And this one, what do you notice about this one? He's clinging to the side of the tree, sort of like the woodpecker is. But look at that. He's upside down. This is a nuthatch, and a lot of people call him the upside down bird because he goes up and down the tree with his head down and his tail up, and he looks for insects inside the cracks of the bark on the tree. That's the nuthatch, and he hatches those nuts by banging them open to get the little tiny seed inside. There's the woodpecker, and he lays a different kind of nest inside the cavity of a tree. I think if you look closely, you'll see little birds inside that hole of the woodpecker's nest. And this one's a mourning dove. You might only find it in the morning, so get your binoculars out and look hard for the mourning dove. The mourning dove is also very interesting. Its fun fact says that it makes a soft cuckoo, cuckoo sound, and also a loud whistling sound when taking off to get some air and go into flight. So birds have so many interesting characteristics about them. They're all very different, but they're all birds. And do you remember that common thing that makes a bird a bird? Do you remember what it is? It's feathers. You got it. So friends, have fun with those two activities. Make your binoculars, look for birds, and then color them in if you see them. Keep looking, because sometimes they're hiding. But if you keep watching, if you put up some seed or some nesting material, maybe you'll see even more and more birds. Have fun.